Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 8 of the February daily draws. So as we close out the weekend and approach a new week, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Gilded Tower Royale, followed by an oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Imbolc Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay. The Knight of Wands. Very fiery card there. Look. The volcano. That's the first thing I see when I look at this card today. Is the volcano erupting? So we've got a burst of energy coming that we may be needing. We could all do with a burst of energy sometimes, couldn't we? And it's been building up. We've been stirring up our passions. We've been stirring up our desires and our motivation to go towards our goals. And now we're ready to go. It's like the firing pistol. It's, ready, set, go. And we're ready to set off in fulfillment of what we want to achieve. We could take the action. This is the starting gun of action, but it's like an impetus, like a burst forth of sudden energy that launches us forward into what we want to do, whatever it is we want to begin, whatever it is we want to be involved in. This is a good launch pad, for that. This is like, we've got takeoff, we've got the fire, we've got the energy to carry us forward. And we'll probably start off with a quick burst, sudden burst. Quite often when we begin something, we start off really, really strong and full of enthusiasm and motivation. Eventually, sometimes that does wane after the initial period, down into a more easily sustained intensity. And we have to be careful it doesn't subside too low that we lose motivation and we in danger of giving up the pursuit of our goals. But we're going to start off strong, what this card is saying to us. So, start off strong, take some decisive action, move forward. And the reason it's good to get a good start, it's good to get that strong, sudden movement forward, that quick movement forward, but the reason why it's probably a good thing that we shouldn't really sustain that intensity for too long is that if we try go too fast for too much, it can become a little perilous. It can become a bit reckless. And one of the drawbacks of someone like the Knight of Wands is that he can get carried away with his enthusiasm, with his gung-ho attitude, and he can get a little bit impetuous and reckless in his actions because he's bursting to get this thing done, and in his haste he can make mistakes that he's going to regret later. It's going to cause problems for him. So yes, it's good to get a strong start, but recognize also that after a while it's natural for that to plateau off a bit, because we need to get a good start, as I say, but then we need to get a really good steady momentum, but not too fast that we don't spot things along the way that we need to pay attention to. Whereas if we're going too fast with it, too reckless with it, we won't spot, and all sorts of things can cause things to collapse further down the line if we're not paying attention or we're not spotting things. So, but we're not at that stage. We're at the beginning stage where we need that extra impetus. We need that extra intensity to get going. Sometimes getting going is the hardest part. You know, starting moving an object, it takes more energy to get it moving. That once it's moving, its own momentum can keep it moving. You know, we don't need to put so much intensity on the pressure to keep it moving. You know, but you do to start with, because to get the things moving. So this is what this is saying. Do what you have to do to get moving. Get that burst of energy that you need. But don't think that you need to maintain that kind of intense energy all the way through. You've got to pace yourself a bit. It's not necessarily going to be an overnight journey. It's not going to be a quick journey necessarily towards our goals. We need to pace ourselves accordingly. But by all means, take that motivation, enthusiasm, and make the start that you want to make. That's what this Knight of Wands is telling us to do. Like, he's carrying his torch, almost his lit wand here, just like the volcanoes erupting. And, you know, it's a very fiery image. But fire out of control can be destructive rather than constructive. Channeled fiery energy, you know, can be useful. It can bring movement. It can bring transformation. But too intense for too long is overpowering and destructive. So get that sudden burst for the launch, but then take it easier, slow down a bit, put the brakes on just slightly, and just continue that momentum and take the actions that we need towards your goals. That's what the Knight of Wands is advising us to do. And he's here, you know, in his armor. So, you know, we need to be ready for whatever, in case, you know, to meet any challenges. We need to have that protective mentality, to watch out for perils along the way and be ready for that, as he's ready in his suit of armor. But let's go for it. Let's start. It's the starting gun. Whatever it is we've been waiting to do, now's the time to really start going for it. So let's go. Okay. Let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. Winter Wonderlands, you've had this before. You've got your path. Your path is, you've got enough light now to see the way through. You know, in between the trees, you've been waiting for some clarity. It's maybe not fully here yet, but you've got enough to start. You got the way. Here is the way, where in between, the path is here, in between these trees. And we will know that there's a path forward for us. And that's where we need to really launch ourselves onto that path. We may not fully understand what lies on that path and what's going to be involved, but we know enough to get that initial start. So there's no reason to delay. We can begin. And that's what the message of the cards is today. It's time to begin. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 9. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.